Good evening, everyone. My name is Someshwar. I welcome all of you on behalf of Art of Living organization to Yog Vaashishtha evening session. नमस्ते, मैं सोमेश्वर आप सभी का आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग संस्था की तरफ से योग वाशिष्ठ के सायंकाल के सत्र में स्वागत करता हूँ। रोज की तरह हम लोग आज के सत्र की शुरुआत 3 बार ओमकार के उच्चारण से करेंगे। टुडे वी आर ऑन डे 82। आज हम लोग 22वें सत्र पे पहुंच चुके हैं। तो अपने सारे Zoom के पार्टिसिपेंट्स, अपने सारे फेसबुक के व्यूअर्स, अपने सारे यूट्यूब के व्यूअर्स, इन सभी का भी आज के इस सत्र में स्वागत है। So let us all close our eyes, sit comfortably, आराम से बैठ जाएं। Let us bring back our attention onto our breath. Take a normal breath in and let go. Take a deep breath in and breathe out completely. Drop all your past and come back to the present moment. This present moment is new. Let us welcome this moment by chanting Om 3 times. Take a deep breath in. Let us awaken the divinity within. गुरु का आवाहन कर ले। आवाहनम आवाहनम पुनः पुनः Let us express our gratitude towards the divinity, towards the master. गुरु वंदना कर ले। गुरुर् ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर् साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री Gurave Namaha. Let us pray to the Master. Whatever the words that come out of our mouth, whatever the actions that happens, whatever the thoughts that come into our mind, and the power of discrimination that Viveka arise in our intellect, whatever the impressions that might be created on our memory, if so, And if still there is an iota of that I, me, let thy be inspired by the master alone. We, the people walking on the path of liberation, if we experience that freedom, that liberation right now, right this moment, or if you are already liberated, let this remaining life, and if we have to come back here again with a purpose, to serve this world, to express our gratitude, and to spread this knowledge, let all that be inspired by the Master alone. Feel the presence of the Divine, the Master, within and outside. And slowly and gradually, you may open your eyes. धीरे धीरे अपनी प्यारी सी आंखें खोल सकते हो. Jai Gurudev. So let us continue with our session. Today we are on chapter number 5. We are continuing this from the last two sessions. Upasham Prakan is what is going on, at how we can dissolve this mind and attain the peace. Upasham. And then in between we are continuing with multiple chapters. So we are on 59th chapter, where we are going through the Bhas and Vilas. There were two friends who used to stay in the ashram of Rishi Atri, and since childhood they were together, they used to play together, they spend their childhood together, and once they become they enter into the youths, they lost their parents, and then they continue to spend their time in doing the tenets, the tapacharya, to attain the self-realization knowledge. So they are walking on this path, but one fine day they cross their paths and they come meet with each other. Both of them express their gratitude, their happiness, that okay, how they have feeling by meeting with the old, very old friend, very childhood friend. And at the same time, unlike other people, when they meet, they enter into the gossips, and then they start doing some ninda of this, some gossips, or complaining and grumbling and all that, or certain things associated with their body or people or situation or ornaments or all these things. Instead of getting into any such discussion or topic, they start asking, expressing themselves about their path, how far they have reached, how they really experienced that true happiness, have they really experienced that fruit of their tapa, their tenets, and they were discussing about it. So this is where the Bhas and Vilas, the Vilas expresses, have you really felt, are you continuing with your sadhana? The way we meet, usually the art of living devotees, they meet each other. That is what they ask each other, that have you really been doing your sadhana properly? Are you doing your meditation? Are you in knowledge? How the things are going? And we keep encouraging our devotees to go and attend next program, this program, that program, and while encouraging them to do seva, so that more people can be brought on this path. So all these things continue. So this is exactly what he was referring to. Have you been able to attain this? So this is where the Bhas comes into picture, and he starts addressing that thing, that how can one say, if they have not become free, they are not liberated, they are still entangled into all this. And then multiple such points he expresses, that if any of this is true, how can we say that everything is absolutely fine, that we have reached that thing? So it is being said that Vashishtha Muni tells Rama that while discussing this, they continue to do this satsanga. This is what is satsanga, the inquiry about your own self, the discussion on that, going through the knowledge station. This is all is part of that Sadhusangati. They get that Sadhusangati in the form of each other, and likewise they, when finally they completely attains that Asngoham, they are able to attain that state, and they become free. They become Jivan Mukta, and they are free. Now, discussing this story, Vashishtha Muni is guiding very beautiful principles to Rama, and he says that these are all the things that you will have to do. No, that there is no other way other than attaining that Atma Darshana, attaining that self-realization to make yourself free from such things. Then he also continues to tell him that to do that, you have to go and dissolve your mind. No, using your viveka, you have to go drop this mind completely. Then only you will be able to attain that. Then he also explained that Sangh and Asangha. So what is Sangha? Whenever you are entangled with all the actions and the distractions, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsara, means your anger, your pride, your entanglement, all these vikaras, no? And then you are attracted towards outside, no? All these vishayas, those indriyas, five senses. So whenever that thing happens, that is where your Atma Bhavana, means their self is now, which has taken that Shiva, that taken the form of a Jiva, it starts feeling one with this, and that Bhavana that is come is created because of that what, that sthiti, that situation, that is state of your mind which is created is called as Sangha. Means you become one with these, all these things which are not in real, unreal thing, and then you still feel that you are the doership. That doership comes, you feel you are the one who is doing this, you are the one who is paying for it. That doership that comes, and then you start feeling you are suffering, and then you feel that sorrow, and you experience all these things, and you get into the complaint and grumbling mode. No? That sthiti is that you have become one with the Sangha. So now here Vasishtha Muni tells Rama that if you really want to get into that Atma Darshana, that self-realization, that knowledge, you will have to really detach with this asanga. No? That is one of the fundamental reasons. Many times whatever Gurudev says, our small little bit of buddhi, intellect cannot really comprehend that what he speaks and what does he really mean by that. But here, as this reference has come, I'm just sharing just an opinion about it. That whenever Gurudev says that Asngoham, probably this could be one of the reasons what Vasishtha Muni is telling Rama, that you have to go into that Asngoham. You have to go into that asakti regarding all these things has to be done. That desires, that cravings, that one gets entangled into needs to be dropped, and you have to, how you have to do this? You have to do this Asngoham, Puna Puna, again and again, again and again. So it is not like that we have not experienced the freedom in life. We have not experienced the moksha or mukti in life. N number of times in this life, n number of times we have experienced that mukti and moksha. The only issue with us is that we are not able to sustain that over a 24/7 period. And that is where all these practices, the more and more you get into this practices, and it is not that by doing such practices, it is something that you are going to attain anything. कुछ प्राप्ति नहीं करना है. There is nothing that you will attain anything out of it, but you will just be able to drop all the ignorance, just able to drop, just leave behind and not take anything out of, that is the conditioning. So even if you say that after doing all these practices, if you see that you once you become mukt, or once you realize or self-realize or be enlightened, there is something that you will attain. No? Nothing is to be attained, everything is to be dropped here. Then only you can experience that state. And usually the people who are walking on this path, all the sadhak and the spiritual, on this spiritual journey, usually they get caught up in this. This is very beautifully explained in Patanjali Yoga Sutra as a part of your 9 obstacles. The one state which is anavasti tattva, that I do experience this, but I am not able to maintain it, and I have been doing this from such a long time. The alabdha bhumikatva, there is nothing that I have gained. So that is the 2 points where people usually get stuck. And Patanjali was such a scientist. He has understood this, and he's told that please don't get stuck into this, because there is nothing to gain here. It's all about losing, dropping all these things which you feel that it is your. Whatever is there anyway, it is your only. It's your reflection only. So there is nothing that, and Patanjali says to Rama, it is worth doing. If you have to do some research, if you have to do some abhyasa, some self-study, some swadhyaya, it is worth doing it on this Asngoham of your karma. Drop all your karma, means you don't drop your actions, continue to do your actions, but drop the associated feeling of doership, associated feeling of attaining, gaining something out of it, or that Bheda buddhi means that discrimination that we do, that this is good, this is bad, this is punya, this is pap, this is accepted, this is rejected. No, this is I am doing, this is somebody else, this is mine, this is yours. All this bheda, that non-duality that comes into picture, you drop all that. Drop any foolishness that is associated with it, that you have to drop. And then this Atma Drishti, usually people see this came in the morning also when Manisha ji shared that yes, we do feel that, and then after that it appears so difficult. And I spoke about it in the morning. No, exactly the same point is coming here now, that this Atma Drishti is actually very sahaj. It's very sulabh. And it is very graya. It is being beautifully explained here. Vaashishtha Muni thinks that don't feel that it is very difficult thing. Mukti and moksha and happiness is very difficult. No, you have experienced it n number of times. When you meditate, you have done the Sadhusangati kriya. When you do get into the Prakriti Laya, any sort of things that happens with you, no, you have experienced that peace. It's not that you are white. No, once it is there, you have definitely experienced that. And just to experience that again and again, it is not a very difficult task. It is really, it might even take more time for you to blink your eyes, but realizing the self is even easier, and it is even simpler than that. All that you have to go is to go deeper within, and you will be able to realize this. No, so this is what has been explained. And then after that, he says that once you have to do, and you have to continue to remain in that state. Just one experience is not going to be enough. You want to remain in that state. That is where you have to, this mind. And then Chid. Chid is your, that supreme, that Atman, that consciousness. You will have to do a study of that continuous swadhyaya that you have to continuously do. And then while doing this swadhyaya, what is it that you will have to do? Whenever you go and be with your friends and all that at that particular time, or doing your all the spiritual activities, the religious activities, all the things which are being defined as per your shastra, as per your routine. Once you do that, at that point of time also, do not have any asakti there. Do not have any foolishness. Do not have any entanglement there in doing those activities also. Just do it as a part of, it's your duty, it's your prarabdha that you have been playing this role. So just do those activity without keeping any foolishness about it, neither keeping any thing out of it that I will gain something, some punya karma, neither having fear about it, that if I do this, something bad will happen. There is no God that is waiting for you to punish. So don't have fear. People have fear. If I do this, I'll go to Narak, I'll do this. Then even the puja also, people do puja to out of fear. And many times in Jyotish Shastra, they say this, all these things, and people go and do those things, but are not out of gratitude. They do it out of fear. At least if they do, they will get definitely some benefit out of it. But if it is not coming out of it any fear, if it is not coming out of any greed, that attaining the punya karma is also greed, and then having a fear that I'll go to hell is also fear. If your puja, if your expression, if your gratitude is coming because of two factors, then that is still not that in exalted state. It should come just as a gratitude without any expectation out of it. It just puja means, Gurudev explains, puja means as a fullness of your heart. When your blossom is completely in a heart, that is in a completely blossom state, that point of time when you just, that ananda, that gratitude comes, and then it happens many times when we speak about Guru and Guru stories, that gratitude comes, your neck will choke, and then you'll experience that gratitude. When it comes, that puja happens like this, then that is the thing that is worth doing. If there is this kind of asakti which is involved in that, then you are not really cutting the cake. No, the purpose is not being resolved here. So that is the reason here Vaashishtha Muni is telling that to be aware of this. No, then other than that also he says that if at all you are working about all the other things and you are getting entangled into all these multiple things which is being told here, like for example, there is Vishaya, that is the 5 senses sanitary. Then the second thing is been said is just 3 here. And the moment it is said 3, it's not just related to woman, it is related to that kama vasana which male and female both do have. No, because of this very factor, you see at the start of Yog Vaashishtha, they have done the ninda of this. No, they give some dosha. They said that there is a three dosha, there is a three ninda. They did the ninda of Lakshmi also, no? Because it is not that they are set, right? The reason behind doing this is that once you say that this is bad, no, then your mind will not get entangled into it. That is the main reason of doing so. No? Otherwise, we never do that. This Sanskriti never does. We always respect woman. No? We see it in the form of Shakti, no? The goddess, the mother, the sister, and all this. It's very well respected. But this particular point is related to that lust factor. No? And it is common in both. No? That is it. Then, other than that, also it says that tendencies of your indriya, that vritti. And then there are two things. No? One is bahya things, outward attractions, and then there are some internal things also, antarvishaya. So that thing is also very important. When you do this, you have to continuously focus on this, and then you do your practices based on the practices which have been explained in your Yoga Shastra. You continue to do this pranayama, yogasanas, no? Then concentrating on your chakras, no? Bhumadya is this Agya chakra. So concentrating on your chakras, and then your Nasikagram is your nose of the teeth. And if you see the advanced course of Art of Living, Gurudev makes us do all these practices. No, we do these practices as a part of hollow and empty meditation. Then we do the Anga Puja meditation, respecting each and every part of your body, not only your body, even the other person's body also. So when you see that you are entangled into specifically related to lust, when you feel that you are specifically stuck into any particular body part, you see, go deeper into it. You see the flesh, you see it from medical science perspective. Oh, anyway, I enter into this part, what is there? It is all bones and flesh only. No, go beyond the skin. No, they say go beyond the skin. If you have that X-ray, you see somebody's naked, go even not just clothes, you go beyond the skin also, then see what is there. It is just bones and flesh. No, then that lust will disappear. Or else the other way is respect, see the divinity. So see in each and every part there is a divine. No, that divinity is there. So the moment that you see that divinity, no, you see that goddess, or you see that God in each one of them, then the lust disappears. No, so that is also is very important thing here. Let's see, go beyond that. Then all the other things that is being said here is that whenever you go and do these things, there are multiple avasthas that you can go through. No, Sangeeta ji was talking about this in the morning. Also that, no, those avastha that whenever we are speaking, talking now, it's in the Jagruta avastha, that you are fully aware. No? That's called Jagruta avastha. Then when you go and dream, yeah, usually it happens in sleep, but it can also be daydream, fantasies. Then both these things is called as Swapna avastha. When you are not fully Jagrut, you are dreaming something, and in the Swapna avastha, you are looking at some drisha, and it appears as if it is real. You are going through it. No? So that is a Swapna avastha. Then the third avastha which is being said is the Sushupti avastha. It's like completely you are in a deep sleep. No, there is no Swapna, there is no dream, neither there is Jagrutas. You're fully not completely aware what's going on. You are in a completely deep sleep. And then he said, other than these three, there is also another avastha, which is the combination of all these things. You are there, you are not fully Jagrut, neither you are watching in a dream, neither you are in a complete sleep also. Usually we attain this thing after Sudarshan Kriya. Those who have done the Art of Living course, they know what Sudarshan Kriya is. If you have not yet done, please do so. Sudarshan Kriya, after Sudarshan Kriya, after meditation, we do experience something which is in between these things. That the instructions are going on, and Gurudev says, okay, you breathe in, but you feel as if you are sleeping. But in reality, you are not sleeping, you are into this, something called as Turyavastha. And then other than this thing, also there are two things which are saying that once after this Jagruti, Sushupti and Swapna Avastha, after this Turiya Avastha, there is something called as Turiyatit. Turiyatit means completely be there. Means now nothing is there. There is no this Turiya experience is also there. You become just go and submerge completely, fully into the Atman, that you actually attain the Videha Mukti. No, that is what is, you're completely, your ahankara is fully dropped, your body is dropped, everything, nothing is there. You just go, and then your chitta is also dropped. You're not taking any name, birth and all that. You completely go and you become turiyatit, dehatit, turiyatit avastha, you go. And this is in sequence. It happens in sequence. That is what is being explained here by Vaashishtha Muni to Rama. Then here Vaashishtha Muni, this is where the 59th chapter explaining all this thing, the 59th chapter ends over here. Then the 60th chapter is there. After this 60th chapter, the story of Bhas and Vilasa will conclude over there, and the next story will come is the Vitahavya. So for today, we will take a pause here. I'd like to hand over this session to you. Whatever your takeaways from this entire story till now, you can go ahead and express yourself. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask that also. And if you'd like to contribute anything in addition to this, you are welcome to do it also. Now over to you all. Jai Gurudev. I'm opening the session now for unmute. You will be able to unmute yourself, and you can also use the chat. That also is available to everyone. Over to you all. Jai Gurudev.
Okay. Jai Gurudev. Yeah. So this is my takeaway from the story. It's a story of two friends who grew up in an ashram, and they were very close to each other. And after some time, as is natural, their parents passed away, but they were inconsolable. Okay, so it said that sad accidents of life cannot be avoided even by the good and the great. So whatever good we do, or whatever great achievements we have, ultimately we have to pass on. And these two were very, saddened by the fact that their parents had gone away. And then they decided to go to the forest on their different paths to find out, more, to get more meaning of the life that they are living. And they performed a lot of austerities. But these austerities did not grant them the knowledge immediately. Then after both of them wandering in the forest for some time, they met each other, and then they started exchanging information about the progress on the path. So Vilasa asks, have your austerities been successful? Have you got the fruit of what you have done? Is your mind free from anxieties? And whether you are in possession of yourself, have you obtained the reward of your learning? Have you got peace and quiet? So, and then because Vilasa's mind was still troubled, Bhasa had achieved a certain amount of peace. He had got some amount of self-realization, but Vilasa was yet to come to that stage. So then Bhasa says, how can we have peace in this world of strife? In this world, there are so many, like wars happening, fights happening. And how can we be peaceful when we are in such an environment? And then when our turbulent emotions have not been subsided, even then we cannot be peaceful. As long as there are desires, hopes, and fears, we cannot be peaceful. So he says, without knowledge of the mind and acquisition of true knowledge, which is the greatest remedy of all diseases of the mind, it is not possible to escape from this when this life, and we cannot get the peace once we are in this without having the true knowledge. So many people have the mistaken belief that the external body is the internal self. Okay, and that is the cause of all of our grief, meaning that we think the external body is the internal self. Actually, the internal self is the consciousness. But it's only when we come on the path that we realize this. And also taking others as our own, like what we see are all objects. But when we say that this is my family, this is my son, daughter, whatever, then that also causes us a lot of grief and misery. So after exchanging the information, after talking to each other about their progress on the path, then both of them continued together and they started acquiring divine knowledge. And then they achieved liberation in the living state. So my basic takeaway is that even though there are people who have lived in an ashram, been brought up in that environment, and even though they perform so many austerities, still they do not get the fruit of that unless they get the true knowledge, unless they get the divine knowledge. So that is the major takeaway. And through Yog Vaashishtha, we can say we are getting the true knowledge, but we only have to live it. And in that way, we can come to a certain stage, or we can keep progressing in this way. So that's my takeaway from this story. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev Ji. So it's not just that thing that probably they are getting more benefit of staying over there. It is possible in the other Grihastha ashram also. You can definitely, the way you have said it. It's always there is a benefit that when people are there in that environment, then in the routine life, they have that upper edge, because most of the time they are involved practicing all these things, and the chances of they getting entangled into other things are still less, comparatively very, very less. So, but as Kashi Bhaiya says that we don't think that I am sitting here and I'm doing all these things. We both are in the same boat. It's the same boat we are going through, and the captain is driving that boat, which is our Gurudev. So don't worry, it's okay. I'm also going through the same state. Usually he says these things. He's being very humble. We know that he has already achieved a lot in his life, but still he, just for our sake, he at least being very humble that, okay, like this. But definitely there is the one who has really dropped, they could drop. It is not that easy to go and take a sannyasa. Very, very few people in this life are able to do that. And despite of being IIT, he would have done whatever he wanted to do in his life. But still, that let my life be for the humanity. So that is there. So definitely, yes, the one who are there and the one who raise themselves in that environment always will have an additional benefit, but it doesn't mean that the people who are on these other things doing a Grishtam, they do not have a chance to get it. They can also go through this thing and attain that thing. Both way it is possible. That is the thing. Thank you so much for sharing your contribution.
Thank you.
Jai Gurudev. Anyone else would like to contribute in addition to this? Or if you have any question, you are welcome to answer.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा जो आपने बोला ना कि we should drop the feverishness, you know. That is my takeaway कि हम कभी-कभी ना अरे ये पाना है, ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. That feverishness we should drop, you know. And second thing is that after reaching to that pinnacle कि enlightenment पाना है, even उसको भी drop करना है. You know, so जब ये फेवरिशनेस नहीं रहेगी, जब ये इच्छा ही डिजायर्स ही खत्म हो जाएंगी, तो ऑटोमेटिकली यू आर रीचिंग टू दैट पॉइंट. तो एक बार है ना ऐसे गुरुजी को पूछा गया था एनलाइटनमेंट क्या है, तो हमेशा गुरुजी बोलते हैं कि जब एग्जाम से खत्म हो जाए और उस बच्चे से पूछो कि एग्जाम खत्म होने के बाद जो उसको फील होता है वो एनलाइटनमेंट. इट्स लाइक हर चीज हर मोमेंट में आप अपने आप को वैसा फील कर सकते हो अगर आप 100% एनग्रोस्ड हो और 100% एंजॉय कर पाते हो विदाउट एनी फेवरिशनेस और डिजायर्स. तो फर्स्ट वी हैव टू किल द डिजायर. टू रीच कि मुझे ये करना है, मुझे वो करना है, वो सब छोड़ना पड़ेगा। अब फिर उसके बाद हमें अपने आप ही एक सुकून जब मिलता है, कंटेनमेंट मिलता है, तो वो दैट लीड्स टू दैट, मुझे जैसा समझ में आया। तो उसको भी करने के लिए आपको हर बार अपने आप को इसके लिए प्रिपेयर करना पड़ेगा कि अब नाउ मुझे में फीवरिशनेस आ गई, अवेयरनेस लाना है, जहां जहां भी गलतियां हैं उसको ठीक करके और आगे बढ़ेंगे। तो थोड़ा थोड़ा एक एक कदम आगे बढ़ते रहने से बाद में तो गुरुदेव है ही सही, पर हमें अपनी तरफ से 100% देना है। तो वो आज बहुत अच्छा लगा जब ये इन दोनों का जब कॉन्वर्सेशन चल रहा था, तो क्या कैसे अटेनमेंट किया जाए, एनलाइटनमेंट, क्या क्या क्वालिटीज होती हैं, वो सारी क्वालिटीज जैसे जैसे बताए। हो सकता है कई बार हम स्लिप हो जाते हैं, मैं तो बहुत स्लिप हो जाती हूँ, कई बार स्लिप होती हूँ, पर अवेयरनेस है। पहले अवेयरनेस नहीं रहती थी, पहले बेहोशी सी थी कि अरे हम गुस्सा भी कर लिए या स्लिप भी हो गए तो पता ही नहीं चलता था। अभी यह है कि हमें पता चलता है, दैट इज अ डिफरेंस। बाकी तो अभी इट्स लॉन्ग वे टू गो।
That is a very, very big difference. That's a really great achievement that we are aware about. That awareness does not allow you to do the mistakes that usually happens when you're not aware, and that's a very, very big thing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Binaji.
और ये अपने आप ही आ रहा है, ये सबको, आपको भी आ रहा है, सबको जो जो भी इस बात में रिलीजियसली कर रहे हैं ना, हम सबको फील होता है। ये बहुत सटल है चेंजेस, पर बड़े इम्पोर्टेंट चेंजेस हैं ये।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, आई डेफिनेटली एग्री विथ यू। एंड इस तरह से जो एनलाइटनमेंट है ना, यूजुअली गुरुदेव ने ऐसे उसको इतना लाइट बना दिया ना। गुरुदेव आई मेड इट सो सिंपल, सो लाइट. Otherwise, I too much like go to Himalayas, do the tapasya. Even when we go this stories, 1,000 years of tapasya and all, Gurudev has made it so simple and so light, no? And with joy and fullness of smile, that joy is there. It's not that, oh, you are doing very serious and oh, I'm doing study and I'm doing knowledge. No, nothing like that. It's just like that. It's just taking light and
और स्पेशली जब कोर्स लेते हैं हम, है ना, कोर्स जब होता है तब हम लोगों को ही एक्सपीरियंस होता है कि क्या हो रहा है हमारे अंदर। हम नहीं करते हैं वो सब, मतलब वो जब कोर्स के दौरान वो जो प्रोसेसिंग में जब जाते हैं हम, लोगों को बोलना, वहां से स्टार्ट लेते हुए और कोर्स एंड होता है, वो जो एक्सपीरियंस को अगर आप बहुत अच्छे से ऑब्जर्व करो ना, इट्स रियली एनलाइटनिंग एक्सपीरियंस। तो हर बार कब जब भी कोर्स लेते हो तब कुछ ना कुछ गुड न्यूज होता है, कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा होता है ना। और गुरु ने मतलब ऐसे ही बांट रखा है कि बस तुम थोड़ी सी सेवा कर लो, हाँ, और वो ये भी नहीं पूछते कि कितने पार्टिसिपेंट्स हुए, जितना भी है। तो दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ दिस।
Absolutely. Being an art of living teacher, this is really an honor to serve the master, to work on the vision which he has shown, and to spread this knowledge, whatever the little bit. ऐसा बोल भी नहीं सकते कि it is our knowledge, because when you sit on that seat, you actually assume the form of the Guru. And in whatever we speak, it is the Guru. That is what we pray. Even while starting this session, this is what we pray. That let these words, let this exist, just words, this existence be inspired by you alone. You take, you know it. No? And it is the same thing that is not there outside. नहीं कहीं अंतर के आत्मा की जो आवाज आती है वही गुरु है, आपके अंदर जो ज्ञान आ रहा है वही गुरु है। ईश्वर, आप जो खुद सेल्फ एंड गुरु अलग अलग नहीं है, इट्स अनदर सेम थिंग ना। So that is so beautiful. This such an gratitude we feel for making us, bringing us to this journey, this point of time, and continue this journey with joy and full of gratitude. There is a lot of gratitude towards Gurudev for this.
कोई वर्ड्स ही नहीं है गुरु के लिए, तो जितना बोला जाए, मैं तो सकती नहीं हूँ, मैं, मुझे पता नहीं। अभी हम उनकी बात करते हैं ना तो एंडलेस बोलने का मन करता है कि बोले भी जाएंगे। और मेरी लाइफ में तो मिरेकल्स इतने हुए हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि कैसे हो गया ये, हाउ कम इट हैपेंस, ऐसे कैजुअली मैं सेवा करते करते मिरेकल्स हो रहे हैं। सो दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ दिस। और जो कर रहे हैं ना उन्हीं को पता है, उनको महसूस होता है। मैं तो इसीलिए कहती कि जल्दी से जितने भी लोग सुन रहे हैं आ जाओ, मतलब में एक बार डुबकी लगा के देखो, पता चलेगा कि हम क्यों बोल रहे हैं, हम इतना क्यों बोलते हैं, है ना? ब्यूटीफुल एक्सपीरियंस।
एब्सोल्युटली जी। अपने साथ संगीता जी भी है। संगीता जी वुड लाइक टू से समथिंग। कुसुम ताई ने भी अनम्यूट करके रखा है। कुसुम ताई आपको कुछ बोलना है? प्लीज गो अहेड।
प्लीज प्लीज प्लीज।
संगीता जी के बोल
हाँ कुसुम ताई बोलिए।
आप शुरू कर, बोलो। ओके, मुझे जस्ट इसमें एक साधन पंचकम का ऐड करना है। शंकराचार्य जी का वेदो नित्यमधीयतां तदुदितं कर्म स्वनुष्ठीयतां तेन शस्त्र विधीयताम् अपचिति कामे मतिस्तज्जतां पापौघ परिधूयतां वसुखे दोषोऽनुसन्धीयतां मामेच्छा व्यवसीयतां निजगृहात् विनिगम्यतां संघ सत्सु विधीयतां भगवतो भक्ति दृढ़धीयतां ब्रह्मैकाक्षर मर्ध्यतां श्रुति ये बंद हो गया था, म्यूट हो गया था। तो इसका मतलब ये अर्थ ऐसा है, मैं audible? नहीं, हाँ मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही, आ रही क्या?
अभी आ रही है, बीच में कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम। यू गो अहेड।
हाँ बीच में बंद हो गया था, अभी आ रही ना? बोलो क्या?
हाँ हाँ कुसुम ताई बोलिए बोलिए। Now we are listening you very late. Probably there is some issue with the network. Now she is already dropped. Sangeeta ji, please continue.
Yes. So thank you, Someshwar ji, for the way you take the session is so beautifully, you know, apt, really. And what yeah, it's like, yeah, Kusumtai is back, I think. So let her complete.
Yeah, Kusum ताई, हाँ please go ahead.
उसमें मेरा ये डिस्कनेक्ट हो रहा है बार बार, पता नहीं।
कोई बात नहीं, बोलिए।
वेदों का नियमित अध्ययन करो और उसमें बताए हुए कर्म पालन करे और परब्रह्म उनको नियमों का पालन करे और व्यर्थ के हमारे बुद्धि को न लगाए और हमारे जो पाप है उसको इस जलन में मदद होगी इसी से। और
There is a network issue, बार बार डिस्कनेक्ट हो रहे हैं।
ठीक है, बस हो गया, इतना ही था। इस संसार के सुखों में छिपे हुए दुख को नहीं देखना और हमारे आत्मज्ञान के लिए हमें प्रयत्नशील रहना है और घर की जो आसक्ति है उसका शीघ्र ही हमें थोड़ा मतलब अटैचमेंट कम करना है। बस इतना ही मैं आई हैव टेकन इट।
बहुत बढ़िया कुसुम ताई, थैंक यू सो।
बार बार डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ,
कोई बात नहीं, but the point that you have summarized, they are very very apt and they are very worth focusing on that. Thank you so much for the sharing. हाँ संगीता जी, please continue.
Yeah, thank you very much. Jai Gurudev to all of you. Such a beautiful story, how they are uplifting each other and moving ahead. That is the way we have to do over here, learn it. And many things which are actually what we are going through, seeing in happiness program in advanced course, all those are explained here very beautifully. So that is the thing. And
there are plenty more things. Again, it is the same thing, you know, the mind and the ego, that whatever the mind is showing, if it is attached to your cravings, then what happens? Again, you're dragged down to all this. So it's the same thing. And the illusion, world illusion comes into the picture. It is again just like the mirage in the desert. You see the water, but it doesn't satisfy your thirst at all, right? And this illusion, again, it spreads out like the waves in the ocean, assuming various names like mind, discrimination, ego sense, latent tendencies, senses. All these are the names which are given, you know, they are verbal, but the mind is the ego sense. And what is the ego sense? Is the mind. So again, it is that only. So that ignorance which we are going through are again to be seized, right? And once it is seized, so what happens? The notion of the bondage, what we are there thinking about, and that of the liberation, that of the cravings, through the wisdom and dispassion brings about the cessations of the mind. So all these notions which are there, again, they drop. So again, those mental conditionings, your perspectives, the way of thinking, all that has to drop. And then the mind, you know, arises the new concepts, like there are new things which come up, then that also you'll have to, they are also attracting them. We saw everything. So Meshwarji, you have explained us actually very nice. Only thing I would like to just add, just because I want to do some takeaway, just a lamp utterly dispels the darkness. The knowledge of the truth completely uproots concepts and conditionings. So again, it is the knowledge that we come back to, and with that, it uproots your concepts and conditioning. So no conditioning of the mind is only what you call as no mind. You become so natural, so sahaj. Whatever it comes in front of you, you do it as a seva only, no? Because you don't have any attachments. And what rises is compassion, love. So being in that, you just swing the whole day. That is what I feel and experience, that what you are. So there are no words to describe that. So just experience it, be it in that. Yeah. So thank you. Today's this much. Jai Gurudev.
जय गुरुदेव संगीता जी, थैंक यू फॉर दैट ब्यूटीफुल शेयरिंग। किसी और को अपने आप को व्यक्त करना है तो आप अनम्यूट करके व्यक्त कर सकते हैं। इफ नॉट, देन आज के इस सत्र को हम लोग यहीं पे समापन करते हैं, सो दैट वी कैन मीट टुमारो। जय गुरुदेव।